The big picture for this lesson is slope criteria and proving quadrilaterals. So there are different slope relationships that can help you determine what type of quadrilateral you have. Perpendicular relationships. For a rectangle, adjacent sides are perpendicular. For a rhombus, a parallelogram whose diagonals are perpendicular. And a square, adjacent sides that are perpendicular and diagonals are perpendicular. So if you can prove those things, you can prove what type of quadrilateral you have. So here's an example of a quadrilateral, and it's found that the slopes of the opposite sides are parallel, and that means you have a parallelogram. Now for two lines to be perpendicular, the slopes have to be opposite reciprocals of each other, or negative reciprocals. So for slope of segment AC, the slope was 3/5. To be perpendicular, the slope of DB would have to be negative 5/3, but it's negative 1. So that means the diagonals aren't perpendicular, so it's just a parallelogram and not a rhombus. Here's an example trying to find if you have a square or not. Well, first of all, you verify it's a parallelogram. Both pairs of opposite sides are parallel because the slopes are the same, -4 and 1/4. And also you can say that the adjacent sides are perpendicular because -4 times 1/4 equals -1. That means that you have opposite reciprocals for the slopes. And then you can say the diagonals are perpendicular because the slopes are 5/3 and -3/5. And that multiplies to be -1. So basically, if you take two slopes and you multiply them and you get -1, that means you have perpendicular. So you're going to be using coordinates in this lesson and graph paper, and you're just going to be determining what type of quadrilateral you have based on the slope relationships. And you're going to be focusing on perpendicular and parallel. That's the big picture.